Good morning, and welcome back to Coffee and Sports. It's the morning show powered by Wire to Wire Network. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzek, to my right, I got the man from Podcast Name Deferred, my man Seven. What's up, brother?
Man, good morning. I am so glad to be here. I don't get to do this show often. Thank you for having me.
Bro, thanks for coming on. Good to talk. A day after the World Baseball Classic, having one of our resident baseball guys on to talk a little baseball shop is it's fun to be able to do that. God, listen, I don't want to rip the Band-Aid off right away. I always like to have an appetizer before I have the main event. I always like to have that type of, I want to let people wake up, drink a sip of their coffee, get in the show before we get into that devastating loss that happened last night, which is inexcusable. And Mark DeRosa is inexcused in this situation. From his lineup decisions to his pitching decisions to the fact that he didn't know that he needed to win a game when he needed to win a game. And then he went and told the media that I did know. I just misspoke. Yeah, you didn't know because you wouldn't have Clayton Kershaw warming up in a game that you needed to win when you're down 8 runs. But we got a lot to get into this morning, and I want to start here. Jalen Waddle was traded for a first-round draft pick. So I think that when you look at that trade, Seven, I think it was a first and third, too, which is absurd. Are the Eagles asking price for A.J. Brown being a first and second, which was looked at as ludicrous, still crazy after seeing Jalen Waddle go for a first and third?
I think it's crazy because I think Denver got fleeced. And that's, for me, it's kind of hard to put into words. I respect the talent of Jalen Waddle. But at the same time, with everything, just the culmination of his results, what Denver's going to get out of him, what Denver needs as far as their team as a whole, I don't know that a first and a third for Jalen Waddle is worth it for Denver. I'm not saying as a whole he might not be worth it, but I think for Denver, I think that the price was a little steep. But I do think that the price for A.J. Brown is worth it, but not also because, again, depending on the team and the needs, but also is Jalen Waddle or is A.J. Brown actually going to fit in the culture of that team? Like with these players, like there's question marks, and that's where for me it's hard to like. Is he worth the first or third? Like when the Ravens were looking at Max Crosby for 2 firsts, was it really worth it? Was it really going to be worth it? Like, I kind of understand why they got buyer's remorse. So like that's the hard thing for me.
Yeah, but you can't. Sir, first of all, let's not talk about the unethical practices of the Baltimore Ravens in the same light as the Dolphins. As the Dolphins getting Jalen Waddle for a first and a third, I just my thought process when I seen that trade was the Broncos are going all in, and I can understand why they give up a first and third to go all in to win a Super Bowl. If you think Jalen Waddle is that guy that's going to put you over the top, you had Jalen Waddle in a room with Cortland Sutton and R.J. Harvey, who's a running back. I understand that. What I don't understand is what is Miami doing? I get it, getting a first and third for Jalen Waddle, but you just bring in Malik Willis and you give him a bunch of money to play quarterback for you. And as soon as you bring him in, you trade his top target. If you want to look at the Dolphins receiving core right now, it starts with Malik Washington. And I just need to just understand that. Now, if you're going to rebuild, if you're going to tank, why not let Quinn Ewers be your starting quarterback and not have to pay and not have any money built into the quarterback position? Like, how do you pay Malik Willis $30 million and then expect him to throw the ball to Malik Washington and the ghost of Parker? Like, it's crazy. I said Parker Washington. He's not on the team. That's terrible. But
go ahead. Sorry.
No, okay, you're good. I was kind of finishing my point. But Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, that's their receiving core.
For me, I think that obviously Miami's in a rebuild. Like we don't have to skirt around that. The question for me is, like, and I agree. I agree with the question. Why are you paying Malik Willis? But what are they gonna? What's the plan with these trades? Do they have wide receivers they're looking at in the draft that they think that they can make the right moves to make sure that they have, whether it's just picking them at the right spot, trading up, whatever the case may be. Miami's made a lot of questionable decisions though in the last 10 years, and I don't think anybody can miss that fact. Whether it was all the with Tua, Tyreek, all of the different things that have happened, Miami's made a lot of questionable decisions. And I would have kept Jalen Waddle because it at least gives you something. It gives you an experienced individual that can connect with Malik Willis and actually make some things happen. Can't be, even but with before that trade, Miami wasn't a playoff team. But why did they trade? Like it's a valid question. What are you doing with Malik Willis? Why, if you're gonna tank right? Maybe they don't want to tank for Archie and they do believe in Malik Willis. If that's the case, why don't you keep Jalen Waddle? What's the problem? Do they not connect? Did Malik Willis say, fire sale it all, let me build my team? What happened?
Bo's the resident Dolphins fan in the chat. He said he's understanding trying to get anyone associated with the Greer era. Look, man, I'm going to make something very clear. I told Dolphins fans this before. I will tell Dolphins fans this again. What they did to Brian Flores is unforgivable to me. Brian Flores told you that Tua was not the guy. Brian Flores told you that toughness matters. They built a soft team that ran Vic Fangio out of Miami, who, by the way, turns out to be a pretty good defensive coordinator. Turns out to be a very good defensive coordinator. What they did to Brian Flores, Vic Fangio, I have no problem getting rid of. I have no problem rooting against them, watching the Dolphins suffer. The only thing that sucks is a couple of my close friends are Dolphins fans, and I hate watching them suffer. But, I mean, you need a lot to bring it back to that Dan Marino era, and this is just not it. So, 908. You got it.
Yeah, I would say just Dolphins fans have been through a lot. Like, they've got that organization just as a whole has to do better.
908. I feel like the appetizer is finished. I just dusted off some mozzarella sticks and chicken tenders, and now I get to talk about the collapse that happened last night in the WBC. I'm going to set this up, Seven. Let me ask you a question. How big of a collapse is it that the United States didn't win a tournament that they were fixed to win? And yes, I'm saying it. It was fixed for them to win. They had to travel less. They got put on the easier side of the bracket. They changed the bracket around for them. They didn't have to play back-to-back days ever, even like Venezuela did. They got every call in the ABS system versus the Dominican Republic, which was a joke. It was fixed for them to win the tournament. And they couldn't score more than 2 runs versus a guy that has a career. First of all, I don't want to get into Eduardo Rodriguez's career ERA. The last 2 years, the kid's had a 5 ERA with a 1.5 whip and a lineup that boasts Bobby Witt, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, Roman Anthony, Will Smith, and the list goes on and on and on. Couldn't put up more than 2 runs. The only person that got a hit was Mr. Not Elite, Bryce Harper. How does that happen? And by the way, last thing I want to say on, obviously we'll get a little bit further into it, but on my rant is, how in the world do you not have Gunnar Henderson in your lineup yesterday? Bregman's batting 111. Gunnar Henderson's batting 430 in the WBC. Did you think he was going to snap out of it because he was facing a left-handed pitcher?
It's a relevant question. Like there's kind of 2 sides to this, because like Lou Maroney, Red Sox announcer last night, was commenting on somebody that was criticizing Mark DeRosa and his management style, saying we're going to blame Mark DeRosa while one of the best lineups in the history of American baseball fell completely flat in a championship game against a Venezuelan team that they should have defeated. And he
They
is
should have
right about
mercy ruled that team.
They should have.
They
You're
played a
100% correct.
game series after a 162 game season. They should beat them 4-1 at best.
Right. And you're 100% correct. But at the same time, he made a lot of questionable lineup decisions. And we can't deny that fact.
He was terrible.
Gunnar Henderson should have been in the lineup more. I'm not saying in place of Bobby Witt Jr. because Bobby Witt Jr. was electric in this tournament. He had some flat moments, but defensively, at least, Bobby Witt Jr. should have been in every game. So I don't dispute that. Bregman was questionable. Harper was questionable. Your backup first baseman is Goldschmidt. Why was there not a better choice at first base?
Nick Kurtz wasn't invited. 7. Nick Kurtz wasn't invited.
He absolutely should have been
the best first baseman in the world.
And and I don't know if that was DeRosa's decision to not call him, or if I can't remember who it is. It was a GM for the team, but if they're the ones that made the decision not to invite him, he should have been included. Pitching wise, Garrett Whitlock, even as a Red Sox fan, Garrett Whitlock should not have pitched last night.
Malaza, I'm going to get to that real quick. Please hang on 1 second. I want to respond to you because let me take a second. I'm an angry American fan right now because the United States should have won the game last night. But Venezuela is a great team, and I'm happy for Venezuelans for them to get that win. But we cannot call Eduardo Rodriguez the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. The guy's had a 5 ERA and a 1.5, a 1.50 whip the last 2 years. But I get it. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that I don't want to discredit Venezuela, but we can't call Eduardo Rodriguez the top pitcher. Go ahead. Sorry, Seven. I apologize.
As a Sox fan, no, he is not a top pitcher. He threw a great game last night, but that is the anomaly to what he is as a pitcher. That's very easy to say. For me, the biggest question mark in this series is the lineup decisions were questionable at best. Why was Will Smith in last night?
Because the dumper hasn't got a hit. A hit.
In a big moment, though?
He's got a hit. Period. He's like a 0 batting average.
In a big moment like this, though, I at least behind the plate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cal Raleigh calls a better game. And even
that,
if we look at
ball, I don't know if Cal Riley has that pass ball either. That pass ball was huge. That led to one as well as runs. I apologize.
No, you're right. There are spots throughout this entire situation with Team USA where it's easy to criticize the choices of Mark DeRosa. And something that we talked about, I want to get your take on this. Something that we talked about on podcast Name Deferred was why aren't we making somebody with more management experience the manager for Team USA? And I know that we can't use like an MLB manager because this is spring training. They're getting ready for the season. They can't be there. But why are we not using like a AA or a AAA coach? They can manage these guys, probably work with a couple of them when they were younger. They're going to understand the point of managing a Major League Baseball game. Mark DeRosa spends most of his time as an analyst for MLB Network. It does not make sense to me. Are we going to put Chris Collinsworth in to run the Team USA flag football team? Like that's honestly, that's where my question starts. Why Mark DeRosa and why not somebody with legitimate management experience? Because you have to have management experience in a series like this.
Mark DeRosa was terrible. Joe Torre could have managed it at a better old age. Listen, there's a ton of guys that I can think of that no longer manage ball clubs that could have managed that team. Mark DeRosa not knowing they needed to win versus Italy was inexcusable. And by the way, just so you're clear, I am a sour. Hold on, where do you put it? I am a sour loser, and I am from right outside Philadelphia. So you're correct. Both things you said, you're absolutely correct. I'm a sour loser because the tournament was rigged and fixed for the Americans to win, and they didn't win. I just want to be clear when I say that. The tournament was rigged for the Americans to win, and they didn't win. So I'm more making fun of the American team. So I get what you're saying, My team got screwed by the umpire versus Italy. I'm not crying. I had a AAA team. Oh, yeah, Puerto Rico. Yeah, I mean, very, very good team. They got screwed by the MLB. They got screwed by more than the umpire. If I want to be completely honest, every United States player cleared a waiver. Yes, well, I'll tell you what the fix was. Every MLB player cleared an injury waiver. All the Puerto Rican players didn't get cleared by injury waivers. Dominican players didn't get cleared. MLB teams didn't allow their players to pitch in certain games. They tried to rig the tournament for the Americans to win, and they still couldn't win. So I'm making fun of them for having one of the best lineups you could ever put together. And listen, say what you want about Venezuela's lineup. Their lineup is stacked. It's not the Dominicans. Dominicans had the best lineup by far in this classic, and it's not the American lineup. Like, if you go prestige of that lineup, Bobby Witt Jr. is the best shortstop in baseball. Bryce Harper's a two-time MVP, and he had the biggest hit of the game. Aaron Judge is the reigning American League MVP. You can go through that line. Kyle Schwarber hit 53 home runs last year. Roman Anthony is one of the best young players for the Boston Red Sox. Hit nukes. Gunnar Henderson, one of the best players in all of baseball. Will Smith and Cal Riley are two of the top 3 catchers in all of baseball. You could say what you want to say, but that Venezuelan team, player for player, was not comparable to the American team, and the Americans choked. And that's exactly what we get for trying to rig a tournament for us to win. That's what happened. Call it what it is. It was rigged. I'm telling you that. It was rigged. And the Venezuelans still beat them because Aaron Judge, and this is what I said last night on Twitter. This is what I said last night on Facebook. And it's very poetic. If you cannot do it when it matters, does it really matter? The jury is still out. Not my captain.
Judge hit, what was it, like 231 in the tournament? 220. I'm sorry, I was giving him too much credit. 222. It's hard for me to just start criticizing Aaron Judge because as a Red Sox fan, I'm immediately biased because it's Aaron Judge. So I want to set that aside for a second and just look at things objectively. He strikes out in so many bad situations.
Judge, yeah.
He has the ability to hit the long ball in ways that most people don't. I will acknowledge that completely. But there's more to baseball than just a long ball.
You're right.
And I think that's part of what got lost with this Team USA roster. Is you have a lot of guys that are boom or bust. Give me the long ball or give me nothing. And when you rely so much on the long ball in a game with players because a lot of other countries, the baseball in that country is more about finesse and using the gap to gap hitting and those things like that to just keep the ball moving. And Team USA got beat by that.
Yeah.
Venezuela had no problem last night whittling down Team USA just hitting gap to gap. Yeah, we had Willie Abreu had some long ball hits and stuff like that, but their game was more built on just gap to gap hitting, getting on base, keeping the lineup moving.
Me and you are going to have to completely disagree. The Dominicans barely had a better lineup than the United States. The United States had the second best lineup. Pitching staff, the United States had the best pitching staff in the tournament. I completely disagree with you, and that's to say that they choked. So, if you think that the better team won last night, that's not what happened. The United States players choked, and that's more of a detriment on us. I love rooting for the underdog if it doesn't come at my expense. If the Philadelphia Phillies were the best team in baseball and they had 115 wins in the regular season and lost in the World Series, that's on them. That's on them. That's them choking. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, who had the second best lineup, Laza? That's crazy.
It was Puerto Rico and then the USA. Dominican Republic and USA. Plain and simple.
Yeah, Dominican Republic, USA were the two best lineups. They didn't play like the best lineup. They didn't play like the best lineup.
No.
They definitely are the best lineup. It's Dominican Republic and the Americans. But
I was – go ahead.
Good. No, I just wanted to get into DeRosa a little bit more. You can question a lot of things about last night. I know you questioned Harper. A lot of people were questioning Harper starting, but and honestly, I wouldn't have started Harper one game if they would have brought Nick Kurtz. You can't throw Paul Goldschmidt as your backup first baseman. They brought Goldschmidt and Kershaw there as like, oh, we're going to blow teams out, so we'll throw them in and get them some innings. And neither one of them played.
There should have absolutely been some better roster decisions there, especially when it comes to Kershaw and Harper. I respect Harper's knowledge, and if you have Harper there as like a backup, a player coach, but you have Nick Kurtz there, Harper and Nick Kurtz ear every night, I would absolutely support that. Maybe bring him in as a DH to give Schwarber a break or whatever. Those situations I completely support, but using Harper as your everyday first baseman, you have a lot of other choices that are going to provide results in a series like this. Absolutely, Harper should not have been the starter, and Goldschmidt shouldn't have even been on the team.
Well, 100%, you're correct.
That just made no sense to me.
So when you say the Venezuelans, and they did beat Otani and Yamamoto, I would love for you to do me a favor and give me 3 more players on the Japanese team, Malaza, since you know. Because that's their best 2 players. And yes, they did beat those 2 players. But on a Major League Baseball team, you have to have more than 2 players. Brandon, honestly, if you weren't pitching Miller in the 9th, Miller wasn't allowed to pitch in the 9th. The A's did not permit it after he threw 24 pitches on Sunday. So, he was not allowed to pitch. 7, I don't know if you know this, but you're getting like real bad feedback on your mic. I don't.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just letting you know. Dominicans on paper had a very close to the United States lineup. There's no other team that had close to the amount of talent that was in this tournament. The United States and the Dominican Republic. And the United States choked. Mark DeRosa choked. Aaron Judge choked. And the decisions in that lineup made no sense to me. But what I will say is this. I'm happy for the Venezuelan team. You can see the energy and the happiness that they had. Eduardo Rodriguez pitched the best game I've ever seen him pitch ever. And I get it. Pitching for your country is probably more important than pitching regular season baseball for the Red Sox or Diamondbacks or San Francisco Giants. But, man, you cannot let a guy that has a 5 ERA the last 2 years and a 1.5 whip mow through your lineup for 5 innings without a run. Can't happen.
I agree.
I do appreciate your comments, though, Malaza. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tony.
No, it's Eduardo Rodriguez, as a Sox fan, Eduardo Rodriguez was locating last night better than I have ever seen him locate. And I will acknowledge that. He did throw a great game. But the fact that the U.S. couldn't figure it out over that long of a period, the fact that the U.S. couldn't get something going, because he did a great job pitching for weak contact and fly balls. He didn't have a lot of strikeouts last night. But what he did was keep the ball down and keep the and keep the momentum out of the U.S.'s hands. However, somebody on that team with all of that hitting experience, the hitting coach, whether it was the hitting coach or anybody in that lineup, all of those MVPs, all of those all-star appearances on that team, how could nobody solve the riddle of Eduardo Rodriguez in 5 innings?
You're not lying. The Americans 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 hitters when it combined. You ready for this? 0 for 17. That's not.
I don't understand.
And our closer was Mason Miller. He wasn't allowed to pitch. So he's the best closer in baseball. Just be clear. Did he make changes with the World Baseball Classic, Tony? And what I mean by that is having it in March, when teams are not allowed to. I honestly, I'm not. I get injuries and insurance and how everything plays out, but I think the NHL does it the best way. The way they handle the Olympics. I think the MLB Players Association needs to get together and be like, we're playing full out, and it needs to happen like mid-season. Maybe you take like a 3-week break.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that if you take a 3-week break in the middle of July and have the World Baseball Classic in the middle, yeah, you're right. We're not used to playing in March. You're absolutely correct.
100%.
You're not wrong. Most of the things you said, I know you're trying to rile up. You're right. You're not wrong. Now, I won't agree with you when you say ludicrous comments like they weren't the best team put together on paper because it wasn't close. But
I agree mid-season tournament would be a better thing. And I one of the things that's going to come up in the CBA negotiations this year for baseball is the next Olympics. The next Summer Olympics is supposed to be baseball in the Olympics, and taking a break in the middle of the season so that all of the players can play for their respective countries.
yeah.
And I support it. I think that if you're going to do a tournament like this middle of the season, because we can all agree that 162 games for a season for baseball is too fucking many anyway. Sorry, too freaking many anyway. So taking 3 weeks off and missing 10, 15 games is not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's just not. So I support middle of the season.
140 games.
Yeah.
Make it an even 140. Take off almost a whole month for the Olympics. And let players in their prime all play, and let's see how the chips fall. But I will say this: if Mark DeRosa is managing the team, count me out. That guy stinks. All right, it's 9:30. We gotta move. We gotta move. They did have top level players. No, I'm not. I don't think, man. Ronald Acuna is one of the best players in the world, man. Eugenio Suarez probably wouldn't make the American team. Luis Reyes probably doesn't make the American team. I'm just that Gleyber Torres definitely doesn't make the American team. Andres Jimenez doesn't make the American team. Abreu doesn't make the American team. So say what you want, but just calling it like it is. They don't make the team. But they beat them. All right. Bo said, I think March is better. I don't like the break. Yes, guys are in better form, but I think teams would be more against letting them go mid-season. Not a fan of the break either. You lose fans. Honestly, I think hockey was pretty shit after they came back from the Olympics. Guys didn't look like it. Guys who didn't play looked rusty. I don't care. Give them another month before the playoffs. I get what you're saying, but if we're watching high-level competition like Olympic baseball or a World Baseball Classic, they're more important to me than regular season games. Why didn't he change the lineup in the 6th inning? Because he's an idiot. But not getting into that. Guys, it is March. And if you don't know, March Madness is tomorrow. I mean, March Madness has already started, but the NCAA tournament starts tomorrow. And me and Seven are going to go over a men's bracket, and then we'll go over a women's bracket. And we'll kind of give our thoughts and see where we're at. And by the way, if you want to get in a bracket, Wire to Wire Podcast is running a bracket. It's just $10. Venmo, Wire to Wire Sports Pod on Venmo, and we can send your bracket out. It's right on the page. You can click right in, fill out your bracket. Let's have a lot of fun. But let's go over the men's bracket first. All right. I like this bracket a lot better, and I wish that the women were given a bracket that was better than this. All right, Seven. Can you see the screen? We good?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we can pencil in Duke to beat Siena.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't realize it was going to do this. No, we got to stop that. Let's go to against the ESPN format. God damn it. My bad. That's on me. Want to create a new bracket?
I put mine up, whatever. I got mine that I filled out already up. So
Same. That's why I'm trying to create another bracket. There we go. No, I don't want to import my picks. There we go. Let's share screen and let's get nuts. Apologize to everybody watching. I'm terrible. You can laugh at me. It's fine. We can pencil Duke in. Ohio State TCU is a fun game. We're not going to break them all down. Obviously, we're going to get into it. I got Ohio State. Who do you have in this one?
Ohio State.
All right. So I think St. John's makes a huge run. I think Kansas beats California Baptist. Do you have anything changed there?
No, same.
Okay. Here's my first upset. I have South Florida over Louisville. Where do you see that?
I kind of went opposite. I took North Dakota State over Michigan State and Louisville over Florida.
Okay. But I'll put South Florida and I'll put North Dakota State. We'll have a little fun bracket there with both our upsets. UCF Knights are going to get destroyed by UCLA if UCLA is healthy. Are we good there?
Yeah.
And then UConn. Let's finish out the East, and I think this bracket's going to get fun. Duke over Ohio State. Ohio State just done it to the dogs.
Yeah.
I got St. John's over Kansas. I think St. John's could beat Duke. I would take South Florida over North Dakota State. Did you have Louisville advancing past here?
I had Louisville advancing and losing to UConn.
Okay, so I'm going to put South Florida. And then I have UConn also. So let's go UConn. And here's the debatable one. Duke versus St. John's.
Honestly, I can go either way with this. For the bracket that I filled out, I did go Duke, and it was honestly just because for me it's a coin flip. So I took Duke just because of the higher ranking. But I can't fault anybody for putting Duke into or St. John's in over Duke in that matchup because they have got a tremendous year and that's a great program.
I think that Duke losing their point guard is going to be a lot. I think the guard play will actually even out because St. John's is a little bit weak on the guard play. But I think Ziggy Okafor from St. John's is incredible. I really think St. John's wins this matchup. I'll put whoever you tell me to put through, but I'm really on St. John's on this one.
I support St. John's. No, I'm good with that.
All right, cool. Actually, just to be clear, on my one bracket, I have UCLA upsetting UConn. So that's kind of where I'm at. Final four, I'll let you pick this one since I kind of pushed St. John's. Do you have UConn or St. John's? They played 3 times. St. John's beat them twice.
If this was the women's bracket, I would take UConn, but I like St. John's in that.
Let's go. I'm with you. All right, let's go to the South. Florida's an easy one. This is a fun one. I'll let you pick Clemson, Iowa.
Who did I hold on? I like Iowa in that one, actually.
I'm with it. Vanderbilt runs through McNeese. They have 2 ridiculously good guards. I know 12-5 is your popular upset pick. This will not be it. The men of Troy are going to give Nebraska an absolute run for their money. I'm not saying that they beat Nebraska. I think Nebraska is a better overall team. I think they're more sound. Nebraska's never won a tournament game ever in the history of Nebraska. Who do you got in Nebraska versus Troy?
I'd like Nebraska in that game, but I don't think the game is separated by more than 5 points.
I'm with you. Another popular upset pick for me is VCU over North Carolina. North Carolina is missing their best player. It shows by their seeding. VCU is a very tough team. They're very well coached. Where are you at on this one?
I like VCU pick. They're going to lose to Illinois anyway, but I like VCU there.
I have A&M over St. Mary's.
Same.
Okay. And Houston. Let's finish out this bracket. Florida over Iowa. I have Vanderbilt over Nebraska. Where are you at?
That's another one that I feel like could go either way, but I like Vanderbilt over Nebraska.
I think Vanderbilt's guards are incredible. I have Illinois over VCU.
Houston over Texas.
Okay, perfect. Then we have Florida, Vanderbilt, Houston, Illinois. Who's your Elite Eight?
I'm taking Florida over Vandy. I think that Florida has had a tremendous season. and I've got Houston over Illinois, but I'm gonna take Houston over Florida.
Okay, I have Florida. I have Florida winning my national championship. So first comment, we'll move on. First comment, whoever comments and says Florida or Houston, we'll take that one. Anybody, just get nuts.
Yeah.
Let me know when it pops up. I'm going to move on. Arizona over Long Island. Utah State will beat Villanova. Trust me. High Point or Wisconsin?
I know this is another popular upset point, but I've seen Wisconsin. I've seen Wisconsin a couple times this year, and they looked like they were in a good rhythm. So as long as they maintain that, I don't see why they can't at least make it to the next round. So I would take Wisconsin here.
Okay. I have Arkansas over Hawaii.
Same.
BYU or Texas?
We got, by the way, Florida.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
BYU or Texas?
I have Texas upsetting BYU.
I know that BYU is missing their second top scorer. BYU has, in my opinion, the best player in the country, and H.A. Diabansa. I don't think he can lose in the first round of the tournament. I just don't. I think he might score 30. I think he's unstoppable. I'm going BYU here. You're going to have to talk me out of that because I have BYU over Gonzaga.
I don't hate it. They're not going to. Yeah, I think Gonzaga wins in the next round. For me, because I can't go against Gonzaga in soccer or basketball.
I'll let the chat coin flip that BYU or Gonzaga. I'm on BYU. I have the U over Missouri, even though this game is played in St. Louis.
Missouri, I'm taking the U over Missouri, and I used to live in Missouri, so I get that completely.
Let me know in the chat comments for Wisconsin or Arkansas. I'm sorry, for BYU or Gonzaga. Arizona over Utah State, Arkansas or Wisconsin. I have Arkansas. I think the SEC is a better conference right now. I think Arkansas plays a very fast-paced offense, and I think they'll outscore Wisconsin.
I agree. I have Arkansas over Wisconsin as well.
I have Purdue over Miami.
Same.
I need a comment, guys. Give me a pick for BYU Gonzaga, please. While we're doing that, we have Florida in our Final Four right now. St. John's in Florida. We have Arizona or Kansas.
Hold on.
Arkansas, sorry.
I have Arizona in that game.
I do too. I actually have Arizona in my finals. I got Purdue over whoever wins here. I'll just put Gonzaga there for argument's sake. And then Arizona or Purdue?
Arizona. I put Arizona in my Final Four.
Bottom right bracket, Michigan, Georgia or St. Louis. This is a coin flip. I'll let you pick it.
I picked Georgia, but they're going to lose. Whoever wins that game is going to lose to Michigan anyway. So
agreed. I like Akron over Tech. No JT Toppin for Tech. Yeah. I think Akron upsets them. I think that's one of my big upset plays. How do you feel?
No, I agree. I think that the Tech is going to fall short in that game, and that's where our 5-12 upset is going to be for sure.
This is definitely an opportunity for an upset in Alabama versus Hofstra. Alabama is now missing their second leading scorer. He was arrested for having more than a pound of marijuana. But I still have them beating Hofstra. Alabama or Akron in round 2, brother.
I think Akron takes Alabama in round 2.
I like that. I got Tennessee and Nate Ament over whoever wins tonight with Miami, Ohio. I think Miami of Ohio wins tonight, but I got UT in Philadelphia.
Same. I agree. Tennessee wins that game. It's a play-in game. Tennessee's a high-ranked team. Excuse me, a high-ranked team for a reason. That's Tennessee.
And then when you look at the next matchup, Virginia versus Wright State, you got Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kentucky or Santa Clara, I think this is also a coin flip. Kentucky's way too inconsistent, but Santa Clara is not athletic enough to really keep up with Kentucky. So,
Right.
What do you think?
I took Kentucky just because of what you just said, the athleticism. But if somebody were to pick Santa Clara, it's fine. Again, they're going to lose to Iowa State, so
Right.
it's not one of those things that matters really.
I have UT over Virginia in a slight upset.
I can't fault that pick. I think Iowa State wins in that next round. But
yes, I agree.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that.
Okay. So our Elite Eight is Michigan over Akron. Great run, but no. Yes.
Agreed.
Okay. And then I have Iowa State ending Tennessee's slight Cinderella run.
Yep.
Okay. And then Michigan or Iowa State is going to be an absolute dogfight. Iowa State's the best team no one talks about. They absolutely destroy teams when they get up. Who do you like in this one, Michigan or Iowa State? Michigan's so big though, bro. Those 2 7-footers are incredible.
That's one of the reasons I lean slightly towards Michigan. Cool. This is a genuine toss up for me, and I would be interested to see what the chat thinks about this one. But I take Michigan slightly like last minute, last second shot, that sort of thing.
I got Michigan too. That's why I just advanced them. This is our Final Four, me and you, brother. I have Florida over St. John's. If this was your matchup, would you have?
I like Florida in that. St. John's got a great program, but I think this is where the story ends for them.
And then Michigan versus Arizona. I'll let you pick this one completely.
Oh man.
This is the matchup I wanted before the season started. They're both incredibly long. They have the length, they have the size, both teams. They both have multiple guys that are like 6'11", 7 foot. So they're both very lengthy defensively. They both can score on all 3 levels. I'd flip a coin. I have Florida winning the national championship. I know you don't, based off your statement earlier. So I'll let you pick who they go against.
I go Michigan just because Arizona is not known for their basketball program as much as what they can do with football, I think, for a reason, at least in my experience.
No.
I lived in Arizona, and watching, and just the experience that I've had of watching the Wildcats, I lean Michigan slightly, but I agree that it's a coin flip. And if somebody, anybody that picks Arizona in this situation, I'm not going to argue it. I don't hate the pick, but I take Michigan just by a slight edge. I think it's going to be really close.
Florida, Michigan national championship. This is the morning show bracket. I'm going to pick Florida. I think they're the better team. Boogie Fland, I think, is going to be the difference maker. I think he's a guard that can create his own shot. Obviously, they have championship experience winning last year with 4 or 5 of those guys coming back. Michigan, can't go wrong there. Who do you have in this one?
I took Florida. I think that Michigan deserves to be in the finals, but Florida is on a tear this year, and I think it ends with them cutting down the nets and holding up the trophy.
I can see that. Michigan or Florida, guys? And then we'll get in our women's bracket. By the way, something me and my friend started doing 2 years ago, and it was very, very beneficial 2 years ago. And last year it was absolutely not beneficial. Is we put $25 on every underdog on the money line Thursday and Friday. Super profitable in 2 years ago, not profitable at all last year. Like absolutely got buried last year.
Man, that's the hard part is you can get some terrific money if those underdogs pay off and get that W. But when it comes to when it comes to the losses. Like you're just giving them money at that point. And the books want the team that's slated to win, like the expected team. They don't want the underdogs to win.
I don't know
So
about that. They won't where the money's at, brother.
yeah, and
There
you're
we
gonna
go.
with those odds, you're gonna give more money away. You're gonna pay more money out on those underdogs than you are on the expected team, at least most of the time.
I get it, but remember, if 75% of money's on one side, that means there's only 25 on the other. UConn Huskies are playing. Yeah, UConn Huskies, very good team. Let's share for the women's bracket. And this should be a little bit quicker because you can just do this. Ready, watch. And then you just go from there, you know?
Yeah, it's UConn's gonna win the tournament.
Yeah. I hate doing that. Like, I love Lauren Betts out of UCLA. I think she's a very good player. South Carolina is always great with Dawn Staley. Like, there's a lot of good teams in women's college basketball. UConn's going to win it all. No other team sports two of the top 5 players in college basketball, and that's what UConn has.
I think that when we get the matchup of UConn and UCLA, it's going to be a great game. But I think that UCLA, or I think that UConn is just, there are sometimes you get a team that's just hot. And they're doing everything right. And all you can do is go, well, it is what it is. Like, we're going to try. But, you know, because just like with the Classic last night, sometimes you might have everything firing on all cylinders just enough. But short of something catastrophic, it's UConn.
Yeah, you're not kidding. When you have Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd on one team, they're 30-0. And when you said sometimes teams get hot, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Sometimes teams are just better. And when UConn goes on a basketball court with other women's basketball teams, it's like watching like a Major League Baseball team go against a AA team. And it's just
fair.
not real.
They're playing at an unreal level. And that's like, you know, a Major League Baseball team going against a AA team. Like, I think that's an apt comparison because you've got so much talent on that team in an unreal way. And to have to be in this tournament and face that Indiana Jones boulder, if you will, that's just it's just coming for you.
Yeah.
You can only hope to just duck and get out of the way. It's
right. Let's kind of pick some of these games. I want to get through them before we end the show. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Iowa State versus Syracuse. I'm going with Iowa State. They have one of the best, not defenders, but one of the best scorers of the basketball in the country.
Agreed.
Okay. They're going to get destroyed by UConn in round 2, which will be interesting to watch. Maryland over Murray State is kind of a no-brainer. North Carolina over Western Illinois. In the women's bracket, you don't see that many of those 13-4 upsets. Notre Dame Fairfield will be interesting, but Notre Dame has Olivia Miles. I think that they have enough that they should be fine.
I agree. Yeah, no, I like Notre Dame in that matchup.
I actually think that when you really look at it sucks because Notre Dame's a very, very, very good team. But when you have Hannah Hidalgo, who's next year's #1 pick on your team, you're going to win at least one round, maybe 2. I'm going Notre Dame here, Ohio State here. Stop me when you pick it, Illinois, Colorado. You can flip a coin in this game.
You really could. When I was doing my bracket on this, I picked Illinois. But again, this is another one of those. Like, they're going to lose in the next round. It's a coin flip matchup.
I got Notre Dame over Ohio State. You let me know where you're at.
Same.
Best player in the game is going to be Hannah Hidalgo. So,
It's I have Vandy beating Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame beats Ohio State for sure.
And then we already have UConn advancing. Let's go to the bottom. South Carolina over anyone. USC or Clemson?
USC.
I have South Carolina destroying anyone. Michigan State or Colorado State?
Michigan. Yeah, it's Michigan State. I think that's where they actually make a little bit of an appearance, but they're going to lose to Oklahoma in the next round. So
I'm with you. TCU is a very good team. They have Olivia Miles. I misspoke. She transferred from Notre Dame to TCU. I'm going with TCU in this one. I think they're the much better team. And I also have TCU over Washington.
Same.
Gonzaga or UVA? Or sorry, Georgia or UVA, sorry.
I like Georgia, but that's another coin flip one for me.
By the way, you notice I just said UVA and I didn't even give Arizona State any credit. They're not going to win that game.
They're not. That's UVA all the way.
And then Iowa or Georgia? I like Iowa huge.
Yeah, I like Iowa.
South Carolina, Oklahoma.
South Carolina.
TCU or Iowa?
Iowa.
And then I'm making a business decision and putting South Carolina because I want to see that matchup. Dawn versus Gino. Always want to watch that.
Oh, that makes for some great TV for sure. Yeah.
Lauren Betts. Are we good there?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll stop. You can pick the rest of the bracket.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't object to that at all. UCLA is going to the Final Four.
All right. Oklahoma State, Princeton.
I think Oklahoma State gets that one. They're going to lose to UCLA, but I like Oklahoma State now.
Ole Miss, Gonzaga.
Ole Miss.
Minnesota is going to beat Green Bay. We're good there, right?
Yeah.
Baylor or Nebraska? I think Nebraska beats Richmond, FYI.
Yeah. No, I agree with both of those.
And
I like Baylor in that one.
Duke, the ACC champions, very, very good team. I actually think Villanova upsets Texas Tech.
I don't hate that take. I really don't hate that take.
Thank you for letting me pick my team in one round before they lose to LSU. Duke or Baylor?
Duke. I think Duke makes some pressure. They're going to lose to LSU, but I like Duke.
Yep. Sorry. All right, Kim Mulkey. This should be fun. I have LSU beating Duke. Kim Mulkey versus Lauren Betts. I think that she develops a plan to keep that game way closer than it should be, but I also have UCLA winning. Let's go down to the bottom bracket. It's the only one where I do not have the one seed advancing. Texas was very good at the beginning of the year. They kind of tapered. They're still number one based off the overall breakdown of the bracket, but I think that another team comes out of this bracket. Do you have? I like Oregon over Vatech. Do you have any objection there?
No.
Okay, Texas beats either one of them. Kentucky or James Madison?
I like Kentucky. If there was going to be a 5-12 upset in this bracket, I think that's where it is. But I think
I'm with you. I'll pick Kentucky, but I agree with you. If there's a 5-12 upset, James Madison's the team to do it. West Virginia over Miami of Ohio. Rhode Island is sneaky. Alabama is better.
Yeah, I like Bama there.
And then I don't know if it's like me just having like old lineage of Candace Parker and, old Tennessee teams. I always pick Tennessee to win at least one round in the tournament. They're going against NC State. Who do you like in that one?
I have Tennessee over North Carolina State on that too.
And then I have Michigan, who I have ultimately coming out of this bracket, beating Tennessee, beating Holy Cross.
Yeah, I don't hate it, and it's I think that's where Texas drops off is I think against Michigan.
I agree with you. So Louisville or Alabama?
I Bama winning Louisville and then losing to Michigan.
Perfect. And then West Virginia, Kentucky.
It's one of those coin flips, and I can entertain arguments either way, but I pick West Virginia ultimately simply just because of seeding. Like, there's got to be something that they saw that just kind of put it right there, but they're still going to lose. They're still going to lose to Texas.
I like Michigan over Texas. What do you like in that game?
Same.
All right. Your Final Four, because I picked the national champion, UCLA or Michigan? Lauren Betts or Michigan, baby?
I've got UCLA and UConn as the finals.
It's a great finals. I think UConn routes their whole way to the national championship. We'll enter this bracket in, and if it wins, I'll split the money with you.
Deal.
Did we miss anything? It's not letting me submit. Oh, that's what we missed. North Carolina or Maryland? It's North Carolina or Maryland? Your pick, brother.
I can't remember who I picked there. I North Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, basketball school. Why not?
I'm with you. We still missed a game. What did we miss? See, this is what happens when I do that thing where I click someone. Ole Miss, Minnesota.
Minnesota? No. Wait, hold on. No, I think I had Ole Miss on that. No, I did pick Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota.
All right, Minnesota. We're locked in. We're submitted. We got it rated before the deadline. I think, like everyone else, we have UConn winning it all. Let me stop sharing. Sorry. Last news of the day. The WNBA and the Players Association have come to a verbal agreement, and we are not going to have a lockout.
Good.
What a way to end the show. Have you watched the United States women's Olympic team play in their qualifying rounds? They're like, not qualifying rounds. What are they called? I forget what they're called. I think they're exhibition games, like friendlies, but
yeah.
Have you watched them play?
I haven't gotten to watch it. I've seen some of the write-ups on it, but I haven't got to sit down and watch it.
I've watched way too much of it because I'm a nut. I'm not kidding with you. And not to mention, I love watching like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese play together. But man, they have been awesome to watch. One game, Caitlin Clark had 19 points, 14 assists. Kelsey Plum added 18 the other night. Kalia Copper, like that team is absolutely loaded. Team USA women's basketball is in the right direction. It's fun to watch. The FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, they've done great. So the leader in efficiency per game has been Caitlin Clark. Points per game has been Kalia Copper. Rebounds per game has been Angel Reese. Assists per game has been Caitlin Clark. Blocks has been Monique Billings. And Paige Buckets has been incredible. And it would be remiss for me not to bring up Ryan Howard. She's been great too. They just played Spain. And honestly, don't take this the wrong way, to Spain. It was a 14-point game, and it shouldn't have been a 14-point game. The Americans did not play well, and they still won by 14. Kelsey Plum had 18 points. Kalia Copper with 20. Chelsea Gray, one of the best point guards in the world. Caitlin Clark off the bench with 7 and 7. Angel Reese, who's off the bench with 8 rebounds. That team is loaded. Paige Beckers, Kelsey Plum, De'Erica Hamby, Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Angel Reese, Ryan Howard, Ray Burrow, Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Monique Billings, and Kiki Ariafan. That 15 will do some serious damage. Happy the WNBA's back.
Same. It's I've been going to WNBA's games since I was a kid. I was fortunate enough to get to see a lot of Mercury games when I lived in Phoenix, and
your favorite player?
I've enjoyed. I'm sorry, what?
Is she your favorite player, Diana?
Taurasi, absolutely. I love Diana Taurasi. I've met her in person. She's an amazing person to talk to. I've just you get girls like Lisa Leslie was amazing to watch. I loved watching her play, and to see where the league is at now just makes me so happy. Like, there's so much talent, there's so much passion, and the fact that we're not going to have their growth hampered by a lockout just makes me so happy, because that would have that would have killed the growth that we've seen that was sparked by people like Paige Buckets, Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Like, I'm excited to see where things go now.
We have to go, but I do want to say this. I think this is great. My team, Puerto Rico, we are qualifying for the FIBA World Cup. Size always beats us. I thought this was one of the most interesting stories to talk about. The coach of Team Puerto Rico, and this is, I don't know, man, this is just a fun thing to have a conversation with. His daughter went to the game, and she held up a sign that said, I'm all for Puerto Rico, but I'm here for my dad's the coach of Puerto Rico, but I'm here for Paige and Angel. Or Paige and Caitlin. I thought that was interesting. I'm here for Paige and Caitlin.
That's great. I didn't see that, but that's funny.
Awesome sign. Guys, we're at our time. Thank you guys so much for hopping in the chat. Malaza, appreciate you. Honestly, stop back anytime you want. I don't mind the trolling. I don't mind you coming at my throat. I actually enjoy it. That's what sports talk's about. And thank you for continuing to be in the chat and talking the entire time. Thank you guys so much, Bose. Everybody else that got in the comments this morning. Appreciate you. 7. When's the next time we'll see you? Is it tonight? Podcast deferred?
I'm going to be on the Sports Nuts podcast at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find them on YouTube, and then podcast named for 10 p.m. Eastern on all Wire to Wire Sports networks. Check it out.
We will be doing our full bracket for Wire to Wire tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't watch 7 at 7:30. Make sure you're watching us at 7 o'clock. I'm kidding, bro. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.